This is News 3 Now at 5.
Thanks for staying with us. It is an alert day as a winter storm will impact much of southern Wisconsin.
Snow and wind could make traveling rather difficult, especially south of Madison, where the heaviest snow will fall. Let's get your look at your first warn forecast. Here's Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti on the weather patio. Gary.
Well, Charlotte, so far the snow hasn't started in Madison, but it'll probably be starting before too long. Let's start out by taking a look at Doppler track. You can see a large area of snow covering much of Iowa and parts of northern Illinois. That snow is spreading to the north and east. Now, the air across Wisconsin is a little bit drier, so it's kind of eroding away at that northern edge of the snow as it tries to push northward in our area. You can see it's probably snowing pretty steadily down toward the Illinois state line, but not here in Madison, just maybe a couple of flurries. Visibility's right now still at or above 10 miles, so much of that snow still not yet reaching the ground. But winter weather advisories are in effect until noon tomorrow for Dane County, areas immediately to the east, south, and west of Dane County. Winter storm warnings are in effect for Milwaukee, Chicago, and down to the south into Rockford and Dubuque, Iowa. Snowfall forecast right now, we're thinking about 1 to 3 inches of snow from the northern edge of Dane County northward to about the Dells. North of the Dells, there might be little or no snow accumulation. Farther to the south, the amounts will increase to about 6 inches, or maybe even a little bit more down toward the Illinois state line. The heaviest snow of between 6 and 9 inches expected across much of northern Illinois and far southeastern Wisconsin. It was cold last night. Here in Madison, we dropped to 4 degrees with skies clearing out for a while. So far, we've been up as high as 20. We're at 18 right now, but as the clouds move in, those temperatures will actually start to rise overnight. And look for occasional snow to start developing overnight and continuing through tomorrow morning, and then tapering to flurries from west to east by late tomorrow morning, early tomorrow afternoon. Tomorrow's high temperature of 25 will probably occur early. We'll see nearly steady temperatures through the day, but there could be some blowing of the snow with brisk winds overnight and into tomorrow morning. I'll have more details and weather in just a few minutes.
Gary, thank you. And once again, the Madison Streets Division will have 32 trucks out tonight to maintain roads as the snow comes in.
Those salt routes are about 20, 30 miles apiece, so it takes a long time for those trucks to loop through their whole routes again and again. So commuters, you will encounter snowy roads sometime in your drive, whether it's if you're an early riser and you get out on the main streets right away, you're probably going to hit snowy roads there.
City crews are expecting those high winds could make plowing streets a little more difficult. They're continuing to tell drivers out there to slow down.
Here's a look at what is headed our way. This is a live look at downtown Des Moines, Iowa. The National Weather Service in Des Moines says that so far some parts of the city have seen over 3 inches of snow. There are also reports of drifting snow due to high winds. Our meteorologists are continuing to keep you informed about this upcoming snow. To stay updated on this wintry weather, you can download our First Warn weather app. It features hourly forecasts, up-to-date radar and road conditions. You can download it for free in your phone's app store. Just search WISC weather.
Today is the first day that people 65 and older can start receiving the COVID-19 vaccine. Local hospitals are reaching out to patients who are eligible. UW Health says it has started contacting patients to set up their appointments. SSM Health also contacting people, but they will schedule their vaccine in phases, meaning they'll start with people who are 75 years old and older. Unity Point Health Mariner will also contact people directly. All clinics are reminding patients to not call the clinics if you do not use any of those providers. Public Health Madison and Dane County is launching an online survey to make sure you can get vaccinated. We have a breakdown on how counties are preparing to distribute the vaccine, as well as a PHMDC survey that's available on our website, channel3000.com. As more people get the vaccine, you've probably seen people posting their COVID-19 vaccination cards on social media.
Well, there's nothing wrong with being proud of getting the vaccine. Police departments and the Better Business Bureau say you might want to reconsider what you post online. Jamie Perez joins us now to tell us why.
Right, so these cards have some of your personal identity information on them that police say could make you more susceptible to becoming a victim of identity theft. Now, usually these cards have your full name, your birthday, and that's really all that scammers need to open a line of credit, for example. The Better Business Bureau spoke with me today about how easy it is for scammers to use your vaccine card information against you.
People can open credit cards in your name. They simply have your name and your birth date. All they need is your social security number and your address. Your address is usually pretty available online through different platforms. Scammers are out there and they purchase social security numbers on the dark webs.
The Wanakee Police Department also posted on Facebook about this as well. They suggest that if you're going to post it, blur out the information or black out your information again if you are prone to wanting to post this image online. And they also said that you're usually given a sticker at the time that you're given a vaccine. They said that posting a picture of the sticker is a good alternative as well.
All right, some important reminders there. Jamie, thank you. So far, over 345,000 doses of the vaccine have been administered to Wisconsinites. Preliminary data shows only about 1,300 doses were administered yesterday. Data shows a decrease in doses administered on the weekends. And hospitals across America are in need of more doses of the vaccine to meet a huge demand for shots. So far, more than 41 million doses have been distributed. Just over half of them have actually been administered.
As UW starts its spring semester, community COVID-19 testing sites at University of Wisconsin System campuses throughout the state are extending into the spring. It is unclear, though, how far into the spring those testing sites are scheduled to run. UW System officials said some of the original sites will not continue testing. Those interested in getting tested can register online at doineedacovid19test.com. A full list of UW System testing sites and their scheduled start dates can be found on our website, channel3000.com.
At least 5,792 people have died of coronavirus complications since the start of the pandemic. 13 new deaths confirmed today. State and county health officials recorded 1,048 new cases of the virus today, which is below the 7-day rolling average of 1,577. The state has reached a lifetime total of 535,227 confirmed cases. Roughly 22,000 of those cases remain active.
President Biden signed an executive order to help ensure federal agencies buy more goods and services from U.S. companies. The president's action seeks to close loopholes, updating how much of a product needs to be produced domestically for it to be considered made in America. President Biden remains focused on his goal of 100 million vaccinations in the first 100 days of his presidency.
I think we may be able to get that to 150, 1.5 million a day, rather than 1 million a day.
As the virus continues to mutate, the Biden administration also announced plans to reinstate a travel ban on more than 24 European countries and Brazil, and add a new ban on South Africa. Under the new restrictions, all international travelers must provide proof of a negative COVID test within 3 days of traveling to the United States.
A now former Clinton High School coach is being held in the Rock County Jail on a $1,000 signature bond tonight.
Reports of him inappropriately touching 2 students first came to light last month. Gabriela Becerra shares new details from his first court appearance this afternoon.
The first victim, a female student here at Clinton High School, reported the incident to police immediately after it happened last month. Police Chief Michael Schultz commends her for her bravery. 36-year-old Tyler William Clark was charged with 2 counts of physical abuse of a child and 2 counts of disorderly conduct in court this afternoon. Court documents suggest he was the wrestling coach at Clinton. One of the victims told police on December 27th he began to wrestle them, grabbed them in an inappropriate area, and when they tried to get away, prevented them from leaving. Chief Michael Schultz says school surveillance video showed it all.
We observed another student that got battered.
The document suggests Clark was wrestling another student, eventually punching and kicking them as they tried to get away. A handful of students at the practice suggested Clark smelled intoxicated. Schultz says both victims showed strength through it all.
It's a very difficult situation for them, and for them to come forward and be honest about the problems that had happened. We're very proud of their bravery and can't say enough about the kids.
No contact with any minors that are not his family. No involvement with coaching of any kind. Absolute sobriety. And no contact with the Clinton schools.
This investigation took nearly a month, but Schultz says they took their time to make sure all of the facts were collected on this case.
This is a very important investigation to the community, and we want to make sure we got it right.
If there are any other victims, Schultz says it is okay to talk to police, and the school district says students will continue to be supported. In Clinton, Gabriela Becerra, News 3 Now.
News 3 Now reached out to the Clinton Community School District today to find out how they are telling families and what support would be provided for students. We have not yet heard back.
A third person has died after a fire at a home in Grant County. The Grant County Sheriff's Office says this morning 14-year-old Barbara Hurley died from her injuries sustained in that fire. Deputies say 32-year-old Andrew Brown and 12-year-old Frederick Hurley died in the fire Saturday morning. A 15-year-old girl remains in critical condition. Officials responded to the home on J Street in Blue River Saturday morning. The cause of the fire is still under investigation. A GoFundMe has been set up for the family, and you can find that on our website, channel3000.com. For the second time in nearly a year, House impeachment managers will march across the Capitol and present the article of impeachment against former President Trump to the United States Senate. The House impeached the former president for the second time nearly 2 weeks ago on a charge of incitement of insurrection in connection to the deadly January 6th storming of the U.S. Capitol. Sources tell CBS News the Senate President pro tempore, that's Vermont's Patrick Leahy, will preside over his second trial now that Mr. Trump is out of office.
I think the trial is stupid. I think it's counterproductive. We already have a flaming fire in this country, and it's like taking a bunch of gasoline and pouring it on top of the fire.
The theory that the Senate can't try former officials would amount to a constitutional get-out-of-jail-free card for any president who commits an impeachable offense.
Senators will be sworn in as members of the impeachment court on Tuesday, but the trial will not begin for another 2 weeks.
President Biden has signed an executive order revoking a Pentagon policy that largely barred transgender individuals from joining the military. The new order overturns a ban ordered by former President Donald Trump. It also immediately prohibits any service member from being forced out of the military on the basis of gender identity. Biden's order says gender identity should not be a bar to military service.
A government watchdog will investigate whether Department of Justice officials tried to overturn President Biden's election win. The Department of Justice will investigate whether any DOJ official engaged in an improper attempt to have DOJ seek to alter the outcome of the 2020 presidential election. The probe comes on the heels of reports from the New York Times and the Wall Street Journal that former President Trump attempted to use his Justice Department to challenge the election results, an effort that included the possibility of Trump ousting then acting Attorney General Jeffrey Rosen.
The Supreme Court has brought an end to lawsuits over whether Donald Trump illegally profited off his presidency. The justices have thrown out Trump's challenge to lower court rulings that had allowed lawsuits to go forward. Those suits say he violated the Constitution's emoluments clause by accepting payments from foreign and domestic officials who stay at the Trump International Hotel. The High Court also ordered the lower court rulings thrown out. They directed appeals courts in New York and Richmond, Virginia, to dismiss the suits as moot now that Trump is no longer in office.
And there's more to come on News 3 Now at 5. Up next, there are new plans to transform a Madison golf course. We'll tell you how. That story just ahead on News 3 Now at 5. And ahead at 6, a couple married for 63 years receives the COVID vaccine together today. We'll hear what it means to them. That's ahead at 6. And the markets open the week with mixed results. The Dow falling some 37 points. The Nasdaq, though, jumps 93, and the S&P added 14. We'll be right back.
My husband's parents were visiting, and I promised them a home-cooked meal, except my boss had a different idea. He tells me, hold your horses. I call my husband, and I say, I'm slammed, and he's like, Quick Trip, and I'm like, bingo. At Quick Trip, I say, what's good tonight? And the Quick Trip guy is like, everything, but I go for the hand-breaded fried chicken, and I go, make that ×4. Being none the wiser, my mother-in-law is like, I always said she's a keeper. I'll run with that.
Quick Trip, we got you covered.
Your eyes are everything. They're how you see the world and connect with others. At Shopko Optical, your eyes are everything to us too, which is why we offer everything to help you see better and look better. A huge selection of designer frames, convenient locations, and experienced optometrists. We're Shopko Optical. You'll see. Right now, get 50% off frames with any lens purchase.
The forecast calls for a messy commute. The Ford lineup helps keep you in command. Intelligent four-wheel drive monitors traction, and a terrain management system adapts to road conditions at the turn of a knob. So you're ready to take on the elements with confidence. Power through the storm in a new Ford Explorer, now with 0% financing for 72 months, plus $4,250 bonus cash. See your Wisconsin dealer today.
Is your credit score getting in the way of things you want to do? Personal loans through NetCredit help you borrow up to $10,000. So check your eligibility on netcredit.com today without affecting your credit score. You may even be able to build your credit history as you repay. NetCredit, a more personal loan.
News 3 Now and Channel 3000 put top stories and breaking news at your fingertips. Video alerts and forecasts, simple and fast. Download the Channel 3000 app today. Accurate news as it happens.
We need more vaccine to be allocated to our state.
Right here, where you live.
In 2022, we should hopefully have a new and improved belt loan.
Information that you can use.
Water backup is not part of the standard homeowners insurance coverage.
From the team you can trust.
This bomb was placed in a way that really could have hurt people.
For more local stories that impact your life, News 3 Now.
Tuesday morning, with sports on pause for a lot of schools, we'll look at the big impact it's having on student athletes.
And what a Biden administration means for the economy and your bottom line. Join us between 4:30 and 7 for News 3 Now this morning.
Waking up to stuff like this should never be a surprise. Download the Channel 3000 First Warn app and be ready for whatever Mother Nature throws our way. You're watching News 3 Now at 5.
Reimagining golf seems like a big swing, but it could be a hole-in-one for a local course.
There's a plan to not only renovate Glenway Golf Course, but also transform it. Brady Mallory joins us with a look at what it means and how a big name in golf is helping this project. Brady?
Well, if you frequently visit the links, you probably heard of Michael Kaiser. He's a celebrated golf entrepreneur and course developer who is often credited with reinvigorating the game all over. He currently lives in Madison and is offering to fund renovating Glenway Golf Course. The goal is to not only rebuild 8 of the 9 greens, but he wants to make it more progressive and architecturally different than from what we expect from a regular course. The proposal would make the property more mixed use and allow golfers to play the game, but also make it a destination for non-golfers who just want to get outside.
But some initial ideas we have are, we think it's possible to get a walking trail that would navigate a significant part of the course and not put people in harm's way. That would be available all the time.
Of course, before anything is official, the Board of Park Commissioners and the City Council have to look at the proposal. Kaiser told our partners at Madison Magazine that he would like to move on the project quickly.
Let's get a look at your first warn weather now. Here's Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti. Gary.
Well, Charlotte, the snow will start developing this evening across southern Wisconsin. Last week, we had alert days in the forecast for tonight, actually for the day today. It's pretty much going to be more tonight into early tomorrow morning, so the timing is a little bit later. But we were talking about the potential for that storm to move a little farther north, and it has. Not a lot, but enough to make a difference because there's going to be a sharp cutoff in the snow totals on the northern edge. So because the snow system is moving northward, we are expecting increased snow totals across at least the southern half of our viewing area. With some strong winds, we could see some issues of blowing snow and slick roads, and the impact will continue into tomorrow morning's commute before things start to improve. You can see on high-resolution radar bands of snow lifting northward, but a lot of this not yet reaching the ground. So once the atmosphere moistens up to the point to where the snow can start reaching the ground, it should develop pretty quickly. The snow has been pretty widespread across Iowa and parts of northern Illinois. The northern edge being cut off by the drier air, but you can see visibilities right now at or above 10 miles through southern Wisconsin, Moline, Illinois, Des Moines, Iowa, down to a quarter of a mile in heavy snow. So it's not that far to the south of us, and with time it'll lift northward. So winter weather advisories are in effect for southern Wisconsin, winter storm warnings farther to the south. You can see the snow totals that we're expecting. About 3 to 6 inches from Madison southward, a narrow band of about 1 to 3 inches from about, say, northern Dane County to around the Dells. North of the Dells, probably very little in the way of snow accumulation, but south of the Illinois state line, those amounts will ramp up to 6 to 9 inches, or maybe even a little bit locally more. And then the heaviest snow will probably fall from west central Illinois through much of southern Iowa, with the possibility for amounts of around a foot near Des Moines. The storm will be weakening slightly as it pushes eastward, so that will keep the heaviest totals back across Iowa. But you can see on future track, the snow lifting northward. This is at midnight, so snowing pretty steadily across at least the southern half, if not the southern 2/3 of our viewing area. But again, north of the Dells, probably just some light snow or flurries with little in the way of accumulation. By 6 a.m. tomorrow morning, the snow starts to wind down from west to east. It'll taper to flurries, and then gradually we'll start to see some clearing late in the day tomorrow. That will allow temperatures to turn colder. The next weather system looks like it'll keep the snow to the south, so we've taken the flurries out of the forecast for Wednesday. And then with skies clearing out for Wednesday night and Thursday morning, we could be looking for low temperatures to be around 0 here in southern Wisconsin. On weather track, the storm starting to wind up to our south. It's a classic type of winter storm. The main area of low pressure is located in central Missouri. It'll take a path to the north and east. We're on the northern side of the storm with northeasterly winds and a falling barometer. That's what you would look for when you have a winter storm. But notice those temperatures, certainly cold enough for snow here. At least we're not worried about any kind of a wintry mix. So winter weather advisories in effect until noon tomorrow for Dane County and areas to the east, south, and west. Look for snow to develop tonight. It will continue into tomorrow morning with about 1 to 4 inches by tomorrow morning, and it will be windy overnight with temperatures steady in the low 20s. Tomorrow, the snow will start tapering to flurries from west to east during the morning. High of 25 with nearly steady temperatures, maybe an additional 1 to 2 inches during the morning hours, especially from Madison southward. Again, the heaviest snow south of Madison down toward the Illinois state line, around 6 inches or more. To the north, lighter totals 1 to 3 inches up toward the Dells, and north of the Dells, probably little, if any, snow accumulation. Look for temperatures to stay cold for the middle part of next week. Another weather system brings the potential for accumulating snow over the weekend, and yet another one perhaps in the wings for the middle part of next week as we get into a very active storm pattern. As we take a look at first warn traffic right now, the snow hasn't gotten to Madison yet, so the roads are in pretty good shape. Not seeing any problems on the Beltline, I-39, 90, 94 on the east side of Madison, or even East Washington Avenue for the most part. Travel times right now, about 15 minutes either direction on the Beltline between University Avenue and the interstate. Heading out of Madison, it's 26 minutes from the Beltline southward to Janesville on I-39, 90, 16 minutes to Sauk City from Middleton on US 12, and 18 minutes to Sun Prairie on East Washington Avenue and US 151 from downtown Madison. That's your news street now, first warn traffic.
All right, Gary, thank you. Ahead at 5, the Madison girl who spoke at Joe Biden's inauguration is continuing to raise money for a local profit. What her next goal is, that's ahead at 5.
News 3 Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
My wife had a tough week at work and she needed a break. I stopped by Quick Trip and they say, I want to surprise my wife with a special dinner. And the Quick Trip lady was like, our take-home meals are freshly made and absolutely delicious. I recommend the fettuccine Alfredo with chicken. And I'm like, sign me up. Upon arriving home, my wife says, wow, what's the occasion? And I'm like, just you. And she's like, looks like someone's getting dessert. Bless you, Quick Trip.
Quick Trip, we got you covered.
My lips get so dry and cracked, I need serious relief. That's why I use O'Keefe Slip Repair. It's all-day moisture in one use and is guaranteed relief for extremely dry, cracked lips.
Also available in O'Keefe's Working Hands. Guaranteed relief for extremely dry, cracked hands.
Want your brain better? Unlike ordinary memory supplements, Nariva has clinically proven ingredients that fuel 5 indicators of brain performance: memory, focus, accuracy, learning, and concentration. Try our new gummies for 30 days and see the difference.
Who is USAA made for? It's made for this guy, a veteran who honorably served. And it's made for her. She's serving now. We made it for all branches and all ranks, whether they served one tour or made a career of it. We also made USAA for military spouses and their kids. USAA is easy to work with and can save you money on auto, home, and renters insurance. Become a member today. Call us for a quote. USAA. What you're made of, we're made for.
USAA. Millions of customers are leaving their providers and switching to Spectrum. And if you have satellite, it's not hard to see why. Because unlike satellite, Spectrum gives you all the services you need, like internet and TV from one provider. They do? Yeah, they do. And Spectrum has the fastest download speeds with the most reliable performance. Get Spectrum Internet with speeds at 200 megabits for $44.99 a month. Call 833-909-4499. Spectrum wins on TV, too. Unlike satellite, Spectrum doesn't have an ugly dish to install. And you get exclusive premium original content with Spectrum Originals. Wow, really? Really. Plus, Spectrum has more free HD and free on demand. Get Spectrum TV from $44.99 a month. Call 833-909-4499. And unlike satellite providers, Spectrum doesn't have contracts or early termination fees. We'll even buy out your current contract up to $500. Switch to America's fastest growing internet, TV, and voice provider. Get Spectrum Internet and TV from $44.99 a month each. Ask about our easy self-install options. Call 833-909-4499.
Ghost stories. Sleeping in. Afternoon naps. Some things are just better with a toasty, warm blanket. That's why News 3 Now and St. Vincent de Paul are collecting new and gently used blankets for our neighbors in need. Please drop them off at a Dane County St. Vincent de Paul store or participating area churches the last weekend of January. Or donate new blankets online at svdpmadison.org. You're watching News 3 Now at 5.
Welcome back. Advocates are asking state lawmakers to create legislation that would limit the number of juveniles being sentenced to life without parole. Doctors presented medical research showing an adolescent's brain is not fully developed until after 18. Attorneys also touched on recent U.S. Supreme Court rulings that found these type of juvenile sentences unconstitutional. Advocates said Wisconsin Supreme Court has not considered a life without parole sentence since 2011, which was before the U.S. Supreme Court rulings. A former juvenile offender also spoke at today's legislative briefing.
Legislation can acknowledge the difference between juveniles and adults. Legislation can fulfill the Supreme Court's ruling that a life without parole sentence for a juvenile is almost always unconstitutional.
Data presented during a legislative briefing today showed that 5 years ago, there were 127 men serving life sentences in Wisconsin prisons for crimes committed as children. Around 73% of these involved offenders of color, and most were sentenced in the 1990s.
The 8-year-old Madison area girl who raised over $53,000 through a lemonade stand initiative is setting another goal. Morgan Marsh McClone of Belleville spoke at President Biden's inauguration last week. Since her appearance on national television, an additional $16,000 has been raised for Little John's, a nonprofit pay what you can restaurant to help those who are dealing with food insecurity. Morgan's setting a new goal to raise another $53,000 by President's Day. That's coming up fast on February 15th. A final check of your firstborn forecast. The latest on tonight's snow just ahead.
Menards carries everything you need for your automotive needs. We carry a great selection of quality products to keep your vehicle running smoothly. Splash Ultimate Windshield Wash Fluid is great for winter months and is effective down to negative 35 degrees. It clears ice and salt while delivering a clear, streak-free shine every time. Right now, pick up a gallon for only $1.99. Save today with all of your automotive needs during Menards Home Improvement Sale.
Save big money at Menards.
Oh, baby, I have sinned. Oh, baby, this is my last confession. You know I've never been no good, but when I'm with you, it feels like heaven. I'm begging for mercy, baby. Yeah.
So, what do you think?
I love it.
Dear Winter, I'm coming. My squad of 15 vehicles with all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive is ready to take you on. Safety's the name of my game, so you better bundle up. Toyota.
Right now, get $1,500 customer cash on a new 2021 Highlander Hybrid. Visit Toyota.com to learn more. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
A surprise party, a wedding proposal, an unexpected bonus at work. Some surprises are awesome, but this? Weather like this should never be a surprise. Not when you watch News 3 Now, where you get an accurate, reliable forecast, so you're never caught off guard by the weather. Need to get up early to shovel, add time to your commute, wear boots, rebook a flight? Let News 3 Now Firstborn Weather give you everything you need to know so you can plan your life. Get more local news now with Channel 3000 Plus, our free digital streaming service that brings you area news and info 24/7 from the News 3 Now team. Channel 3000 Plus. Download it today and watch from your streaming media player or mobile device.
This day is our day. This moment is our moment. Let's take the next step.
Coming up on the CBS Evening News, the national plan to get students back in the classroom as teachers in Chicago vote to keep remote learning, and why a shocking rise in student suicides led one city to reopen its doors. We've got that and more tonight right here on the CBS Evening News.
All right, let's get to Gary for a final check. What's happening out there with the weather?
We're waiting for the snow to arrive in southern Wisconsin, and it shouldn't be too far out. You can see pretty widespread snow across Iowa and northern Illinois. The northern edge of that snow is kind of being eroded away, even though high-resolution radar shows that the radar beam is probably undercutting that because it's so close to the radar. So some of that snow not yet reaching the ground because visibilities right now are at or above 10 miles. Get down to Moline, Illinois, though, they're reporting a quarter-of-a mile visibility and heavy snow. Winter weather advisories in effect until noon tomorrow for Dane County and areas to the west, east, and south. Winter storm warnings toward Milwaukee, down toward Chicago and Rockford. Snowfall amounts of about 3 to 6 inches expected from Madison southward. Heaviest amounts down toward the Illinois state line. 1 to 3 inches north of Dane County, but very little for our viewers north of the Dells.
All right, Gary, thank you.
We'll be back in 30 minutes for News 3 Now at 6. Stay tuned now for the CBS Evening News.